Hello, everybody. I'm Ricky Smith. Welcome to Faith on Friday Presents. At Faith on Friday Presents, our goal is to drive motivation by closing the door on the comfort zone, to foster inspiration by showing you what's possible, and to create transformation by challenging those negative mindsets. And while you're here, don't forget, subscribe to this YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Instagram. Okay, networking. I know, right? We've all been there. We go to these places, we stand on the wall and watch the one guy running around handing out cards like he's at a strip club. And then, not to mention, the one person who's constantly trying to give you a drink and asking you what you do, not listening, and trying to sell you their product. There's got to be a better way to network, right? Well, today I'm going to introduce you to somebody who's going to talk to us about networking, the hows, the who's, the where's, and the why's. Everybody, please say hello to Lisa Hernandez. Hello, Miss Lisa.
Hello, hello. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited that you are here. This is a cool topic because a lot of people in business, you hear it all. We got to network, and we all seem to hate it. But before we get into that, Lisa, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're located.
So, I am a native El Pasoan, born and raised and stayed. Love our city. And I am a professional salesperson. That's something I've done all my life. I started in cellular sales back before everybody had a cell phone or two cell phones, right? I started there and went into school sales, and now I'm in business for myself.
Awesome. You've had a very storied career, and we are going to jump into all that. But now we're talking about networking, my friend. So, first of all, Lisa, what is networking? What would you say networking actually is?
I would say networking is going to a specific place, right? To with the intent to meet someone new.
Hmm.
Somebody that is going to challenge you, to give you new thoughts, to help you see something different perspective. And you can network in so many ways, right? It could
Yeah.
be online, it could be in person, it could be through joining a group on Facebook. So networking is a very broad term,
Hmm.
but I think if as long as you keep that mindset of the intent of looking for somebody new that I
Hmm.
don't know.
Okay. That almost sounds like a dating app, Lisa.
Well, you could have that as a side intent.
Right.
I'm going to tell you, ladies, go to networking events if you want a good
Right.
man because they got a job.
At least you know they got a job. That is so good. Now, Lisa, when you started networking, what got you into it? Because I know you're, like you said, consummate salesperson from way back in the day. Is that when you started networking?
So I mean, I networked within my company, right?
Mhm.
Because you want to get to know people within your company. So I did that. But networking outside, like intentfully looking for a place that was called a networking group, uh,
Hmm.
that's when I started. And I wasn't until I was 50
Wow.
that I actually went and started looking for a networking group. And I
Hmm.
went with the sole intent of finding something new.
Hmm.
And what I found was like a whole world that I didn't
Yeah.
even know existed. And I'm
Wow.
like, shame on you, 30, 40-year-old Lisa. You should have done this sooner.
That's so true because a lot of us didn't start networking until later. Some of us were forced into it because of our jobs.
Mhm.
When I was working in corporate and everything, networking was kind of part of the thing, but we didn't know how to do it. We went to these after hour things or sometimes, and hated them so much. They were horrible to go to. And
Mhm.
if you were an introvert, you may as well have just sent me to the torture rack because they were so bad. What do you find about networking that's good versus, oh God, not again?
Well, I think number one, it's going to challenge you. right? It
Hmm.
is going to pull you off the wall, right? Of being that wallflower, right?
Yeah.
And to be successful at it, you do have to connect. And it is not comfortable,
Hmm.
right? It isn't. But here's the thing, the one thing that you don't want to do is probably that one thing that is going to make your business the most successful.
Wow. That's huge. Because a
Yes,
lot of people don't know how to network. We
true,
go
true.
and we
I
do. So
mean,
what can you tell us about how to network and network well?
So let me digress a minute and talk
Sure.
about my first networking experience
Hmm.
because I was, so I'm very extroverted, but when I
Hmm.
got into this room of all these people, all of a sudden that negative self-talk, right, just
Yeah.
started hitting me like, why am I here? Why would someone want to meet me? All those negative self-talks, right?
Hmm.
So the very first thing is get out of your head. You have value,
Oh, that's so
right?
good. Hmm.
Because if you don't go in with that mindset, you're gonna stay an introvert and you're gonna feel, it
Yeah.
takes a lot to go, hey, hi, how are you? Right? It takes a lot. So that would be, kind of my number one thing. Even if
Hmm.
you're shy, that shyness is what's holding you back, right? So just
Ooh.
suck it up, go for it, right? Get
Yeah,
out of your
100%.
head, and then
Hmm.
so when I went to that first networking event, I met some really great people, had some great contact. I'm still friends with a
Wow.
lot of them, have collaborated with a lot of them from that first networking event.
Yeah.
And I just started something very simple,
Hmm.
something very nonchalant as a compliment. Something very simple like, hey, Ricky, I love those blonde strands. I'm loving them. I like, and I'm not being
Right.
like I genuinely love them, right? Or
Right.
I mean, but you can always start with a compliment. People love to talk about themselves,
They
and you
sure
don't
do.
always have to start with what do you do,
Oh,
right?
I
You
know.
just start to get to knowing someone like, hey, is this your first time here?
Hmm.
Tell me about yourself. How can I help you? If you go in with a servant's heart,
That's
how can
good.
I help you?
Yeah.
You're going to find people's doors are open,
Yeah.
right? And then it becomes about the relationship and how you can work together versus
Hmm.
like the, hey,
Hey, how you doing?
what do
Yeah.
you do?
Because you
Right?
do see that a lot. You go in, and some people, I can hear a collective eye roll right now. Some people are not good at small talk.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
and and small talk is a real skill, y'all. It's a real thing, and it
Right.
will help you, don't you think, Lisa, in some of these networking things? Because, it's like I'm afraid to talk to people, but guess what? Somebody there is afraid to talk to people, and all it takes is somebody, like you said, saying something nice to get them talking and off the wall. Because
Right.
because think about it, why are you at a networking event? What are you there for?
Yeah,
To
you're there to
build
grow
and
your
scale
business,
your
build yourself.
business. Yeah.
Amen.
And
Hmm.
unless your business is a mime business and you don't want to talk to anybody, you're wasting your time and space. What else you got for us, Lisa?
Well, I mean, I think for us as women, we spend so much time in our circles, right? So in our
Mm-hmm.
work circle, in our family circle, and maybe those few friends that we've held on to
Yeah.
high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we never go outside of that. We're so stretched. We've
Wow.
got household chores, we've got our kids schedule. And I don't know what it is, but it seems like majority of women I know
Mhm.
manage all the children's things on top of their job, right?
Yeah, that's
The
true.
kids' doctor's appointments, the kids, oh, I got to pick up his because he's got this sporting event.
Oh,
So
yeah.
all of the kids' stuff seems to rely on us,
Kudos
right?
to the
And
moms. Shout out.
right, but I'm telling you, if you don't ask, that man don't know. But that's another conversation, right? But where I'm going with this is because women are so like in our own circle.
Yeah.
And if you do not take time out for yourself once a month to get out of that circle, you're
Mm-hmm.
never going to grow. Right.
So
So
good.
I could go back to that woman that I was in my 30s and 40s, right? I
Mm-hmm.
was that mom that everybody was important but me. I came
Yeah.
last, right? And
True.
for me, networking is a form of self-care
Mm-hmm.
because the connections that you meet, the people that you meet, the women that are just so powerful and awesome
Wow.
outside of that collective of family, work, home, right? Outside of that
Yeah.
collective, you meet some incredible ladies. And
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing, I've not really, I'm going to say 90% of the people I met networking are truly the nicest people I've ever
Mm.
met.
You and I met at a networking event. We
Yes, we
we
did.
we did. And so, yeah,
Yeah,
kudos to
yeah,
us. Yay us.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lisa, you were talking about as women, we struggle to literally add one more thing to our plate.
Yes,
That
absolutely.
made me think this question. How much time should you really devote to networking? If
Hmm.
you already have all the things going on,
Right.
how much time do you really need to devote to this?
So, because there's so many different ways, you could even just do an hour a month online,
Wow.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But I would say the real connection comes in person,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Yeah.
Which is a 2 to 3 hours from drive time back and forth in the event. And
Mm-hmm.
so here's my thing. If I would have asked my husband when I was in my 30s and 40s, hey, I'm gonna go take a couple hours. You're gonna watch the kids this evening.
Wow.
You're gonna put them to bed. You're gonna manage bit. He would have, number one, had a chance to miss me and realize how hard I worked. Number
Right.
one, right? But number two, I would have taken that time to see my value.
To see
Because
your
when
value.
you're in it that day to day to day, and and when kids are, you never feel valued as a woman. But
Wow.
when you go networking and you're outside of those three circles that I keep referring to, you see
Yeah.
the world in a whole new light.
That's true. And you come back with a different perspective. Your circle
Exactly.
just got bigger,
Right.
and it's
Right.
getting new ideas when you have a different environment. So then, Lisa, what about, where do you find networking events? You hear about them all over the place. But
Absolutely.
I mean, do you go to everything? Do you go to, I mean, where do you find these events?
So, I mean, to really like a great place to start is Eventbrite and just type in networking, right?
Wow.
That's one
Okay.
of my favorite go-to sources. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, Chamber of Commerce, in your town, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so for us here in El Paso, we have a Hispanic chamber and we have an El Paso chamber, and both
Mm-hmm.
of those host great events. Um, and then meetup.com
Oh, wow.
has a lot of great networking events, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
great online networking events. So that's another great place.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, LinkedIn
Okay.
has a lot of great online events and
Mm-hmm.
especially industry specific. So
That's
you
good.
can, type in networking in the search events field, find
Mm-hmm.
something there, and a virtual event will definitely pop up there. Same with Facebook events. You could search networking,
Wow.
joining groups in your
Mm-hmm.
industry, right?
That's
If
good.
you really want to expand and know your worth, right? It is
Mm-hmm.
networking with people that are outside of your group of business,
Mm-hmm.
because how do you know what to ask for unless you have a gauge and can ask, how much do you get paid for this? How are
Mm.
you going to go to your boss if you've never had this conversation,
Right.
right?
Right.
Maybe that 5-10% that you have in your head
Mm-hmm.
is far below what you're truly worth.
You said that. It reminds me of one of my mentors when I started my business years ago, Tony Harris Taylor, shout out to you, girl. She used to say, get known and get paid. One of the ways you get known is networking.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
get out there and you find people who need your service or who are doing your service, and
Right.
you can get known. And how cool is it If you are working in your business or in a company for someone else and you're networking, imagine what you could bring to the table when you're out here networking and shaking hands and making connections. And like you said
Mhm.
earlier, it's about making the connections, right?
Right.
What
Absolutely.
does that look like, Lisa, making a connection with somebody?
Um, What does it look like? So definitely, so it's funny because I've also networked in different cities. So I
Mm.
don't just network here when I'm in El Paso. When I go to other
Okay.
cities, I intentfully look for networking events.
Oh,
So I
wow.
network events in Austin and Salt Lake, and they do look
Really?
different. Yeah. So here in El
Okay.
Paso, everyone's very forthcoming with their phone number or doing
Mm-hmm.
the iPhone bump. If you're an iPhone, I know
Yeah.
you're on the
Team
Droid.
Android.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know, I know. So we had that conversation, but so a lot of people are very comfortable just sharing their phone number. But in other
Hmm.
situations and other cities, people are more likely to just share their LinkedIn profile.
Really?
Yeah, so that I found very interesting. But,
Mm.
with LinkedIn, there's messaging, there's all kind of things.
Yeah,
And
there is.
they were I still had, one-on-ones with them. I still had other things, which I'll get to one-on-ones. Don't
Hmm.
forget to remind me of that.
Sure.
Um, so those are network outside of your city too, because
Hmm.
you never know who you're going to meet.
That's
And
true.
I really think they're fun events. I mean,
Yeah.
how many times have you gone somewhere and they sit you with strangers and then you just end up having the best
Yeah.
conversation?
Oh gosh, I have so
Like,
many stories.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's the same thing. You're all there to meet somebody
Yeah.
new,
And
all
like
of
you
you.
said, you will then recognize your worth. You'll also build some confidence as well as building a network of people that will help you
Mhm.
with your net worth. We
Amen.
did an interview a while ago that your network is your net worth. If you're
Yeah.
just sitting in your chair doing your thing, you're not really building anything. You got to get out and
Yep.
shake some hands. So you wanted to talk about the one-on-ones. Explain that to us.
So a one-on-one is it's kind of like a more in-depth get to know you. So when you're at the networking events, there is people that will try and take up your entire 30 minutes or 40 minutes
Mm-hmm.
there. And if it's a real purpose, like this person is gonna just bring an exuberant amount of money into
Mm-hmm.
your business, then yes. But really, you want to try and meet, at least 5 or 6 people at a networking
Yeah.
event. And then take the ones that you had a real genuine connection with. Hey, can we Zoom? Hey, can we go have coffee?
Yeah.
Because when you do a one-on-one after networking, you really get to know the person, why
Mm-hmm.
they started their business, how, and really make a true connection.
Right.
Because, one of the things I wanted to just, identify is the 6 reasons why someone should network. And I'm
Okay.
really gearing this toward women
Mm-hmm.
because, again, like I said before, ladies, if you're single and you need a man, they're at a networking event
With a
because
job.
most of the networking events are all men, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, all men. And
Mm-hmm.
even if so I went to one in Austin that was a tech event.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a tech girl, but what I do, men need this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had value to go and I went. And I'm
Good
telling
for
you, there's
you.
some successful men there. And I was like, shoot, if I was single.
So it turns into a meat market somewhere, Lisa. I don't know how I
Yeah,
feel about
yeah.
that.
But what I'm getting at though is women aren't there, right? And
Okay.
so these 6 reasons is for women right now. Listen,
Go
so
ahead.
number one, just like Ricky said, we do need inspiration. And it doesn't always come from an affirmation or a quote. It comes from a genuine conversation with some woman or man
Mm-hmm.
that strived to success
Yeah.
in a different way or struggled with success, right? We learn from our
Mm-hmm.
failures just as much as success.
So true.
So really expanding your circle. That's number one. Number two, building your confidence and self-worth. We've kind of touched on that, but I
Mm-hmm.
really want to break it down, right? Your self-worth, um, your communication skills, I've always talked in front of a room of people with
Sure.
work, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
something I've always done with my job. But being able to throw events and do things, that just came from networking,
Wow.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Gaining fresh perspectives. I mean, on our one-on-one, Ricky, I learned so much fun stuff. We had such a good
You
time.
did.
We did a lunch and walk, and we just
Yeah.
walked, talked, and we ate a great salad. It was such a refreshing time,
Right.
and I enjoyed myself so much.
Mm-hmm.
And had we not had that connection, what I would have missed in my life,
Right. Oh,
right?
wow.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then of course, opportunities. I mean, the opportunity to be on this podcast and share with women, that's a real blessing to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't have had that opportunity had I
Right.
not met Ricky at a networking event. And then, creating that support system. I have people that call me all the time and ask
Yeah.
questions and advice, and I'm like, who am I? But you know what I mean? Like, no, I
Sure.
have value because
Yeah.
you know. And
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the real important things for me is building my value through
Mm-hmm.
referrals,
That's
right?
so
People
good.
call me all the time and like, who would you use for this? Who would you use for
Yeah.
that?
You've become a resource.
Who would you, right?
Yeah.
And that has built my self-worth to them. It's
Oh,
keeping
that's
me on
awesome.
their front of mind. So
Mm-hmm.
like I have over 1,000 people in my phone. I've got
Wow.
like 2 or 3 cleaning ladies, 4 or 5 HVAC, right? So
Mm-hmm.
people come to me because
Wow.
I'm a referral source. So,
Mm-hmm. That's good.
those 6 things because I add value, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your net, what did you say? Your net
Your
worth.
network is your net worth.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So people see me as that network, right?
Yeah.
So it
Wow.
is value. So those are
Mm-hmm.
kind of those 6 points that I really,
You
really
know,
wanted to.
we did not talk about, and I want to make sure we get it in. You actually have a networking group yourself.
I did.
What's
I've
it called?
started
Mm-hmm.
so it's El Paso Women's Network
Mm-hmm.
because I I love it because it's a genuine place for just women to be vulnerable. Because
Mm-hmm.
when men are around, again, half of the women are trying to hook up, right? And they're not they can't be vulnerable. When
Yeah,
it's just women, we're not in competition with each other,
so
and
true.
we can really be vulnerable and
Mm-hmm.
cry even. I mean, I had a
Yeah.
networking event where we were crying,
Wow.
but it's
Mm-hmm.
just what we needed, right? It
Yeah.
was the topic, it was reclaiming me, it was a sensitive subject, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was an awesome place. So really targeting those women specific groups. I just did
Mm-hmm.
one recently that was an online event that was
Awesome.
really phenomenal, you know,
Wow.
and I met 14 women there. I already have 3 one-on-one scheduled.
That's
And I'm not
awesome.
always going with the intent of growing my business
Mm-hmm.
because the power of the referral, right? If they're not the one who needs my business, they know someone who
They know
does,
somebody does.
right?
That is
Yeah.
so true. That is so
Yeah.
good. Lisa, there's absolutely so much information here and so much to talk about and everything. And I am so grateful. But if somebody wanted to reach out to you for a referral or to be part of your network, where's the best place for them to find you?
So definitely a few places. So on my business, www.nontoxboxclub.com. You can reach out to me there on my contact form. On Instagram, I'm non-toxboxgirl. My networking page is El Paso Women's Network at Instagram. And then, of course, LinkedIn, Lisa Hernandez, and I'm also non-tox box girl there as well too. So yeah, you can find me on any of those platforms. I'd be happy to chat, get to know you, and if there's not a good networking event in your town, start one.
Oh, I love that. Start one. Don't worry, everybody. If you did not get her contact information, everything is going to be in the description box below. And don't forget, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Share us with your network. Like our Facebook page and follow us on Instagram. Lisa, my friend, before I let you go, we got to play a game. This
Okay.
game is super simple. It's called This or That. I'm going to give you the choice of one or two, maybe three things. And you, my friend, off the top of your head, just tell me which one you like the best. Are you
Oh
ready to
no.
play,
It's
girl?
a psychological game. Okay.
What could possibly go wrong? Here we go. All right. Read the book or see the movie.
Read the book.
Eat to live or live to eat.
Mm, in my 30s and 40s, it was different. It really was, right?
Life
Yes,
changes, girl.
yes. But
I
now
understand that
I
completely.
eat to live.
I
Yeah.
hear you. Drive or ride?
Drive.
Little control issues, Lisa? Is that
I
what we
gotta
got?
get there. I gotta get there.
Hey, I'm not mad about it. Okay. I like sports or I don't care.
Only if it's in person.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's not a bad
In-person
thing.
sports, I'm all about, but on TV, no.
Absolutely not. Okay. Hotel or tent?
Mm, RV or Airbnb.
Well, there you go. That to me screams hotel. I'm just saying. Candlelight or moonlight?
Oh, moonlight.
Peanut butter. Smooth or crunchy?
Crunchy.
Clap back or watch your mouth?
Clap back.
It's funny that you had to think about it. You're like, oh, no, maybe clap back. I'm all about it. I'm not mad. And finally, my friend, what is the best advice that you've ever given?
Ever best advice I've ever given?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Let me think, because there's a lot of them that run to my head first. I would think I've been really, really listening to the philosophy of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon
Mm-hmm.
Hill.
Yeah.
And I even have my AI bot talk to me that way.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
and it is all about getting out of your head and talking to yourself positively.
I love it. Yeah,
You
I'm
know what I
about that
mean?
too.
Like if you always say this always happens to me, stop it.
Yeah.
Right? In a negative connotation,
So good.
there's positive out of every situation, and
And you got to find it.
look at the positive